Hi, welcome back. So today I just would like to give some updates regarding our class/membership. To become a member, you could click the join button below just beside the subscribe button. Or you could also join via Patreon. I will put the link in the description in case you're interested. Our last update was still months before. It was like January 2024. And a lot has happened since then. A lot has been added since then. But before we begin, I'd like to showcase some of our students' output. So now our frame-by-frame animation library has a total of 38 lessons. And the physics chapter is now done. So the first lesson in this chapter was the physics for animation. And then we had a drill applying those concepts on like a bouncing ball, but just on place. And then we had a lecture on timing and spacing. And then a drill applying those concepts. So we tried different spacing progression rules. And then we had a lecture about the different timing modes. So timing modes are like on ones, on twos, on threes. And then after that was a drill applying the different timing modes. So students were able to try out on ones, on twos, and on threes, and even combining different timing modes, like combining on twos with on ones. And then we had a lecture about squash and stretch, and then a drill applying squash and stretch. And we also added a face to the ball just to make things more fun. And finally, what I consider as the final boss in this chapter was to apply everything together. So that was the physics chapter. So now we have officially opened chapter 5 and we have 2 lessons so far. So chapter 5 is a series of lessons and drills centered around like one animation, which is animating Blobby. So students would use just one exercise file and would carry that over from one lesson to the next. So the first lesson in this chapter was the frame-by-frame animation workflow. So this is the lesson where I discussed like what my animation process or my frame-by-frame animation process if I have a real client. So we discussed the step-by-step of like my workflow. And then the second lesson was breaking down the design and then using the sketch to do the key poses. And in this lesson, we also discussed the different key poses in a jump in more detail. And then after, we have set the timing. And that's it for the lessons so far. So chapter 5 is still ongoing. It's still in production. And now I'm gonna share our plan. What can you expect in future lessons? So again, this is just a plan. We may or may not follow this. We may add lessons to this. We may discontinue some of the lessons. That would depend on what we see fit. So again, this is still in production. But as of currently, this is our planned lessons. So the next lesson is a lecture about breakdowns. So in this lesson, you would know what exactly breakdowns are and how they differ from a normal in between. So what's the difference between a breakdown and a normal in between? So in this lesson, you would be able to know that. And then the next lesson after that would be a drill. So we're gonna continue with our exercise file, but now we're gonna add breakdowns to our animation and then plan the easing and then do the in-betweens. And after, we are going to do the tie downs. So you're still gonna use the same file, but now you're gonna create the tie downs. And then after that would be a demonstration of cleanup. And then after that would be the color and details. So by the end of chapter 5, you would have finished animating Blobby. So that's it for the frame-by-frame animation lesson updates. But wait, I have more updates for you. We now have opened the color lesson library, and currently we have 7 lessons so far. So we started with color theory. And then we had a lesson about Photoshop, the Photoshop UI, and a separate lesson if you intend to use Adobe Illustrator. And then we had like a lecture about values, and then a drill applying values to a character illustration. And then once we have finished the value plan, we have added colors to it while still maintaining our planned values. And then after that is an exercise or a drill applying what we have learned so far, but this time on a different character style. So that's it for the updates. If you're interested to join our membership, you could click the join button below just beside the subscribe button. Or if you want to join via Patreon, the link is in the description. So you might be wondering what's the difference between the two? What's the difference between YouTube membership and Patreon? Basically, they are the same. They have the same lesson content, just a different platform. So some people prefer YouTube because they are more active there or active here. And some people prefer Patreon because it's less cluttered. They are able to focus more. So just choose the platform that you prefer. So that's it. Thanks and take care, and I'll see you in the next video.